blame a sole industry for a hurricane, which is unrealistic to put all that on and say Irma happened because of coal.
If emissions are connected, why not mention that?
Is
why
coal?
not
But my point is, if you're in the coal industry, if you're an American that works in the coal industry, do you think that you caused Irma? Do you think you caused Harvey?
But, I mean, which
no.
Democrat is saying that anybody who's a coal miner?
But there's no area for debate with people that are climate change individuals.
Go ahead, Anna.
But look, we shouldn't be focusing on one industry, right? There's a lot of things that all of us can do. All of us can do and take some personal responsibility to decrease our carbon footprint. There's things that the car companies can do and have done for fuel efficiency. There's
EPA
things
standards.
we can do on emissions. There's so many things. So let's not just focus on one industry. Let's focus on, a comprehensive approach to this. And I would say a human approach to this. Now, I would tell you, look, part of what Ben is saying is right. As in preparation for a storm, you've got to focus on how to get your house ready, how to get yourself ready, and try not to eat the 10 pounds of candy that I did watching CNN 24 hours a day.
That's
bad.
But
at the same time, when you see those satellite images of 3 hurricanes, one back to back, you had this monster Irma, you had Katia, you had Jose, and just a few days before you'd had Harvey. It's hard not to think to yourself, what the hell is happening? Mother Nature is not happy with us and is sending us a message. Maybe we should listen.
Yeah, on that note, we have to wrap it up here because we do have so much news on Irma. But thank you both for having the conversation with us this morning. We appreciate that. So we're following a lot of news. Let's get right to it.
I have never seen a hurricane like this.
I started crying because I didn't realize how bad this was.
FEMA estimates well over half the homes in the Keys have major damage and 1 in 4 destroyed.
I want to go home. I want to see that we have a home.
The biggest challenge we have right now is just the lack of power, the lack of water.
A humanitarian crisis quickly growing in the Caribbean.
This is not anything that we could have been prepared for.
The goal is to get people back as soon as possible. We're just not prepared to do that at this hour.
While we may be down, we're not out right now.
This is Chris Cuomo. We are here, the CNN team, in the Florida Keys. This is the hardest hit part of Florida in terms of Hurricane Irma. We have new information for you. 55 deaths from this storm, 24 from the United States. That may well not be a final count. It's almost impossible to believe that they have surveyed the entire scope of devastation. Power. 5 million customers were without power. We're getting updates that the number's much lower now. That in Florida, the reported early number of 4.2 million customers still not having it, that's low, that they've been working round the clock and they're making unexpected progress. On the mainland, not here, not in the Caribbean, major distinction. FEMA estimates that 90% of the homes in the Keys have been damaged or destroyed. We're trying to feed you in this fuzzy picture that you may be seeing. It's because there are no comms, there's no communication, there's no internet. All the usual equipment we use, we can't. We're using older, more primitive equipment to get you any kind of broadcast at all. We're trying to send you drone footage that our producer John Griffin has been shooting to show you just how terrible this is, Allison, because Allison is in New York, obviously holding the ship steady. We haven't seen anything like what we've been seeing here on Big Pine Key. Here's our story from being out with the first responders, the first team, Task Force 2, to make it to the Keys.
The destruction you haven't seen. The first key, Key West, disabled by Irma. No power, water, gas. No hope for better anytime soon. And yet these scenes, backed up by the fact that so few lost their lives, a better than expected outcome. But each step closer to Cudjoe Key, where Irma's evil eye made landfall, devastation. Blocks of debris, downed power lines, and mutilated memories, tempest-tossed. More severe than anywhere else in Florida. First responders of Task Force 2 in Florida doing search and rescue have never seen anything like this.
How do you make sense of all these houses are gone and then this house is standing?
Look at the draw, I guess.
Big Pine Key. Not a big pine to be seen here. Houses splintered, gone. Boats everywhere, reminding streets were rivers for hours. Ground littered with personal effects. One tape, a surreal suggestion. Yes, That says Gone with the Wind. I mean, it looks like you had a crew with sledgehammers in here who were angry at somebody.
You're right. Mother Nature, she does what she wants when she wants to. This is where the eye hit, so that's why we're focusing our primary search efforts here.
Another house blown off its slab and collapsed. A search dog gets excited. The saws and anxious looks come out. Thankfully, nothing worse than spoiled meat this time. Each block can take hours to clear. Shouting, sawing, searching, sweaty, sleep-deprived saviors work all day, into night, and day again. Everywhere you walk, a horror of the unknown. And yet for all that's lost, people remain. They come to us shell-shocked and with the same request, to use our satellite phone, to call and tell loved ones they're alive. This young family lost their home, solace in survival, and a beautiful son who will still have a future. But this is so hard.
I can't believe it. The water's still in the house. I can't even get in there yet.
More come, desperate to tell their kids they're okay.
Hey, Jess, I'm alive.
To tell siblings they made it.
Leslie, it's your incredibly awesome brother. Me and Mom are okay. Kind of wiped out down here. We'll get in touch with you whenever we can, but we're okay. All right, bye.
This mother and son have each other and their sense of humor.
You're the best thing I've seen all day. I want you to know that.
Flying for how long?
No. The best I've seen all day.
They'll need both to make it through the next few weeks and months.
Oui, livre, c'est Maryse.
Even speaking French, the message is clear. I made it, and I will never stay for a hurricane again.
The main thing I said, I don't care, even if we don't have a house, we can rebuild. But as long as we were safe, you know.
Here in what was once paradise, so many say they don't know when they'll look at the sky the same way again.
The sun is now up on another beautiful day in the Keys, but what it is shining on is ugly beyond any kind of description. The pictures tell the story. This is Big Pine. Little Torch Key is another one in the chain leading down to Key West. Also very hard hit, very tough to get to by land or water. Bill Weir braved these just storm-passed seas to come from Key Largo down here on a fishing boat. We heard from him early this morning. He's moved again. Bill, how is it there in Little Torch?
It is absolutely gorgeous. And this is the kind of morning that makes people want to live down here in the southernmost neighborhood, but it is almost cruel in its beauty. Look at this, glassy seas, but just across them, I wish we could get closer to the homes there on Torch Key. Unfortunately, too shallow in here, but I can tell you through my glasses that there's not a structure that wasn't completely hammered by Irma. Some of the other infrastructure problems we've seen coming down as we crossed over from the intercoastal to the Atlantic side of the Keys, we went under a bridge at, was it Long Key, Captain? Yeah, Long Key Bridge, and it was like a water ride at an amusement park. Fresh water pouring down from the ruptured pipe that carries sweet water down Keys into Key West. We also went ashore at one of the few islands that is only accessible from the water, Cook Island, this little stretch, just gorgeous, of a couple dozen homes there on a setting right out of a Mexican beer commercial. It just utterly, completely destroyed in jaw-dropping ways. And then on top of that, the way you see snow drifts after a blizzard, piles of coral, the kind of deep